Good evening. It's Sunday the 24th of June. It's just coming up to 8:30. I've come over the reservoir tonight. What an absolutely stunning evening it is. I haven't been over here for a little while. They closed the access off back in April so that you couldn't get the cars around anywhere. So I only had one trip here and I thought, well, I'll wait, leave it till it dries up a bit. Not only for getting the car around, but also because it tends to fish better anyway, sort of this time of year now. Well, it does for me as a general rule anyway. But it's absolutely gorgeous. Sun's beating down. I'll turn the camera around in a moment. The swim I've picked is in a corner near the dam, and the reason why I've come in here because the wind was forecast to turn round and blow into this corner, and I always found on this reservoir, no matter what you're fishing for, always follow the wind. It's advice I was given by other people and it's usually worked out for me. It really is roasting at the moment, hence why I'm still in shorts. It's too warm to put trousers on. I'm fishing a helicopter rig on each rod with a method feeder at the moment. It's how I'm starting off. So it's just a method feeder, helicopter rig as I said on here, with a small bead and tungsten weight which the bead will slip over, a combi link on the hook link, and I'm fishing a small boilie, and I've made up a real heavy stiff mix of ground bait in here which will just mould around the method feeder absolutely beautifully. I've already had a couple of casts already, but I wanted it so that it went straight down and I wanted it to stick to the feeder for a while. And in here I've got casters and hemp and some maggots as well. I've already had a cast about, and there's some weed in front of me that runs round to this side, and what I'm doing is I'm fishing this particular rod just over the weed and up to the face of the weed. I've not actually backleaded tonight because of the weed. I've already had a cast about. Just going to knock a few boilies out while on a reasonably wide spread. I'll use the method feeder for the accurate baiting, and these just to get things in the general area. I've seen a few fish on the surface. There was a couple of carp swimming around earlier. Quite a few bubbles coming up here and there. I don't know how most of you have fared this weekend with your fishing. You've all had a pretty good time, those that have gone out. I expect it's been more suntan weather than catching fish weather, unless you're perhaps chasing carp on the top. Can't get over how warm it is. Thought it'd be cooling off by now, wouldn't you? But not in the slightest. There's quite a few bubbles coming up out where towards that rod is. And as I said, I saw a couple of carp swimming around earlier. But they're just on the top, just cruising, and they're miles out. You never get a rod to them. But hopefully as it cools off, a few fish will start feeding on the bottom. If not now, early in the morning hopefully. May have the first fish. Bream, I should think, with a look at the bite. And the nodding of the rod, yes. Straight up to the surface. It's incredible really how the fishing's changed here. There was a time when I was over here, and to get on the bream, find the actual bream shoals, took quite a bit of doing, and more often you were unsuccessful than successful. And it's really picked up these last couple of years, and can't get away from them now. There's no escaping them. But water's running cycles, so you have to make the most of it. It'll change again and the balance will redress, and one day it'll probably be more tench than bream, or more big roach than bream. It'll do. I've just recast the rods again, trying to get a bit of bait down before it gets dark. As I said, I'm not out too far with this right hand rod. I'm only on about a 15-20 yard mark in a nice clear little spot here. Middle rod's out further, it's probably about 30-35, and then the left hand rod is probably 50-60 yards. Check them to make sure that I'm not coming back with a load of weed on the line. It's just a matter of waiting now while the sun sets. A few fish just rolling on the surface. Lots of insects about still, and the moon's up over on that side, quite high at the moment. Anyway, I'll go and sit down and settle. Well, it's just gone 3 o'clock and I've got a bite on this left hand rod. It's nothing very big though. Should imagine it's the bream. It's quite cold last night actually, with this wind pushing in. I had to close the vents on the bivvy. Yeah, it's nodding away, definitely a bream. Heard some fantastic crashes in the night with some fish lumping out. One or two of them quite close in as well. I've just ignored odd bleeps and that which I've had on the other couple of rods, but it might actually be a roach. Can't see from here. Still, we'll find out in a second. It is. Coming in. Anyway, whatever it is. No, it's a small brain. Blimey. Very small. Get that unhooked. I think we've got a fish. That was going well. Oh. That is a long way out. Ooh, that is going. I'm going to have to gain a bit of line on that. Come on. Turn. Start turning. Up. Going the right way now. God, that did go on a run. to work that back round in front of me. There's a sunken fence over to the one side, and I was concerned he'd get behind that. It's under a fair bit of water at the moment, but he knows where it is and all, I'm pretty certain. I can get him round in front of me, I can let it have a bit of head, so to speak, without any danger. I was lying there a little while ago and I was really starting to think that nothing was going to happen. And I'd be waiting for the sunrise to pack the equipment away, and off it went. Which is often the way this time of year. Haven't really seen it yet. It's very powerful, very, very powerful. But as I said, there is a sunken fence over to my right here. I've got him in between it at the moment, so as long as I keep him this side of it, it's okay, as long as he can't get round it. Oh, kettle's boiling its head off. That'll have to wait a moment. I can tell you, this is a bit of an arm acher. But we're working it nearer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get the net and go the other side of the rods. Make life a bit easier for myself. And keep the clutch fairly slack, because it's bound to want to make a few sudden lunges as it comes towards netting it. It's always the dangerous part, this is. When you got the fish in above you, it's when you could get the hook pull. It's getting closer. It is a common. Yeah, it's starting to tire, it's coming up to the surface. Yeah, here it comes. Come on. Come on, to the net. Yes! And it's ours. Oh, right, let's get that on the mat. Well, in 15 years of fishing here, I've never bothered fishing for the carp. I've always fished for just the tench and the bream. And last night I decided to change my tactics and actually try for a carp. Having lost one last season, I've only ever hooked one and lost one, and that was last season here one night. And I managed to get one. And you don't know how rare it is because there's not an abundance in here. It's well over 100 acres and there's probably not many more than about 30 fish in here. So that's why I'd not bothered before really, because it's a real tough challenge. But there's much bigger ones in here, but this is the one that made the mistake. And its mouth's absolutely pristine. It's got a small mark down this side, but what a lovely fish. Not a monster, but an absolute stunner. Right, let's see if I can let him go in this patch of light down here. Now getting too wet myself. Come on. Just let him get his breath back. And away. Just got another fish as well. Well, I think it's another roach or a hybrid. Or small bream maybe. Oh. No, definitely a hybrid, fighting too hard for a bream. got to a good size now, these hybrids. At least they do scrap a little bit. Just show you this one. I couldn't be bothered last night, but now that I'm riding high on victory, I will. They're all coming quite a decent size, these are. It's just 7:05 on Monday the 25th of June, and as Pippin said on Lord of the Rings, we are sitting on a field of victory enjoying a few well-earned comforts. Glorious morning. Mind you, it always feels good. I'd still be happy if it was lashing it down with rain now after catching that carp. So anyway, as I said, I'm going to wrap the vlog up here, do a slow pack down. I'll leave the camera out on the rods just in case something else does happen. But once again, until the next time, thank you ever so much for watching, and I wish you all the best with your angling. Your good health.